in your life and submit it to us at VO Radio. We'll add it to our new feature called Day in a Life. What's the day in your life like as a voiceover talent? We want to know. VO Radio. Listen, learn, and succeed.
VO Radio. Internet radio for the voiceover community.
Hi, this is Linda Bruno. Be sure to catch my podcast, the Voiceover Gurus podcast, weekends during the Weekend Power podcasts here on VO Radio. Check out the podcast section of the website for my weekend showtimes.
Internet radio for the voice artists just like you.
Welcome to Let's Talk VO, live here on VO Radio. Interact with us by texting 970-682-3424. That's 970-682-3424. Or use the Ask a Question button located on your radio player window. You can also email us using the icon on the apps. Now, it's time for Let's Talk VO on VO Radio.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Let's Talk VO. Okay, it's Wednesday. It's me, Stacey Barrow, top of mind, here with Bev Standing and her features Inside the Booth. We've got, let's see here, we've got D. Alvis with VO Horror Stories. I'm just kidding, Horror Stories.
That's for the Patreon subscribers. You get that one. So.
Yeah, those are, if you pay money, you can hear those other stories.
Yes.
And let's see, we've got Anthony Reese with Business Sense. And we've had, let's see, we've got some people popping in on the panel right now. We've got David Perry. Welcome, welcome. We have our very own. Hello. Hi. Thank you for joining us today. And let's see, we've got Russell Eckel in the house. Thank you for joining us today, Russell. He's our regular. And let's see, you know what? Have you guys seen our VO2Bs page? You know, we are streaming live. And all you do to get there is start with our VORadioOnline.com site. You get to go to shows, scroll down to our live tubies, and it's as simple as that. Or you can go direct to YouTube and find VO Radio online, like through that way. And let's see, we've got today, we've got special VIP guest in the house coming up. We've got Marc Graue. And don't forget, on Mondays we have What's Your Story? And that's a great time we have with, you know, fellow voice actors and other different kinds of people in adjacent industries, you know, that overlap, where we get to hear their stories. So that's always a great time. We love having guests on our show. Let's see, you know, let's talk about something that's on our mind right now with Here's Our Take.
Hi, y'all. Kathy Verduin here, VO veteran and audiobook narrator with Sound Certified Home Studio. You can also find me on audible.com or check out my commercials on Jazzy Vegetarian. If you'd like a mentor, email me at kathyv@voicealive.net or go to my website at www.voicealive.net. www.voicealive.net.
Every day in the voiceover industry, things arise that we all have an opinion on.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!
Even our panelists here at Let's Talk VO have thoughts and comments and suggestions with regards to today's voiceover industry.
I have a question for you. Are we really friends? I mean, because friends can tell each other anything if we have our friends hats on, right?
Now it's time for this week's installment of Here's My Take on Let's Talk VO. On Let's Talk VO.
All right, welcome back. Well, I'm excited to hear everybody's take on something today. So I'm going to start with you, Dee. What's your take on something today?
Well, this is for all the pet owners out there in VO Radio land. So my wife and I have been doing rescue forever, right? Caveat though, kind of the twist. I am very allergic to cats and I'm allergic to long-haired dogs.
Oh.
We've had a house full of them many years in many different places. Okay. So where am I going with this? You got to remember to clean your studio a bit more properly, guys. If you got allergies, and even if you don't, it's probably just wise. So even though I do not allow them in this room, I got a German Shepherd. That hair is getting everywhere, right? That's stuck in every nook and cranny everywhere, and it follows me in. So normally I take care of the outside of the booth area, right? Just like the control room area. Well, the other day I went and I was having a sneezing fit like crazy when I was trying to record some stuff. And I realized, you know what? I haven't vacuumed inside the booth in a while. And sure enough, because you can't really see it the way my booth is, but once I ran that vacuum, you saw how much stuff got collected and then the dusting. Oh, man. So just a little reminder that, kind of little things, maybe you're having a slower day. If the auditions aren't piling up, the jobs aren't piling up, do some spring cleaning in your studios because you want to be able to breathe. It's kind of important for our job.
Oh, that's so good. And I really need to do that with 7 rescue dogs of my own. The little doggy hairs find a way of creeping in. Very good take. Okay, Russell, I'm going to go right to you because sometimes you give your 2 cents last, and I want to start with you today.
Thank you. Well, honestly, I think my take for today is don't come at anything in voiceover from a point of disparity because you hear it all the time about like, oh, well, there's this workshop and I'd really like to go to this, or there's this mic I'd really love because maybe that might make it sound better. But it always winds up coming through your auditions in the end, and that can really take away from what you do. So that's my take.
Good. Excellent.
Very good. What about you, Bev?
I want you to picture a pond, a stagnant pond. What does it look like? All the little things floating on top, starting to grow, thicken up the top. I'm working with a myofunctional dentist, and he described a nasal passage in that same way. And he said, if you are a mouth breather, that's what happens in your nose.
Oh.
So it is more important to breathe through your nose. I can't talk, so I can take this thing out. You have to breathe through your nose to filter the air before it gets into your lungs. So if you have lung issues and you're just breathing in everything with no filter, or you're complaining that you're congested, just try and breathe through your nose, filter that air, and out through your mouth.
Nice.
Oh, that's so good.
I love that somebody always shares a good health tip. That's a good thing there.
It's only because that's what I'm going through with my jaw. So I'm learning a lot. It's interesting.
My lungs must be really good because I have quite a filter. With my nose, Okay. Actually, I want to go to you, David, if you feel like sharing. Thank you for joining us on the panel. And do you have just a brief thought about just something, your take on something in the voiceover world?
You just have to unmute first.
Or not. Or maybe you're thinking it right now, but
right.
If you want to say it out loud, go ahead and unmute.
And if not, that's okay too,
totally
man, if you're just
fine.
listening. Hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and get rolling because Marc Graue is in the waiting room. So let's let Marc in, and we can go ahead, if that's okay with you, Stacy, and jump right into the VIP.
Okay, terrific.
This week's VIP guest interview is brought to you by
The darkest hour when the night unfolds. I'm a lioness ready to take control.
Hi, I'm Bev Standing, a voice actor in Canada, and I started my journey in the VO world in 2008 and have not looked back.
No one can hold me down.
If you want to talk to me personally about coaching, just message me at bev@bevstanding.com, or you can contact me through my website, bevstanding.com.
No second guessing.
VO Radio. Here's a VO Radio testimonial.
I love that tip from the voiceover hip chick. Do one new thing every day. So I wrote it in this week. It's Tuesday. So I'm going to try to do one new thing. There's so much to do in voiceover. Earl Thomas' The Voice, creating vocal paradise for your exact needs.
Real feedback from VO Radio listeners. Have something you want to share with our VO Radio audience? Use the self-record button located on the listener contribution page. VO Radio, it's here for you. Thanks for listening to VO Radio, internet radio for the voiceover community. VO Radio takes you up close and personal with some of the leading experts, trainers, coaches, and gurus within the voiceover industry. Now it's time for this week's VIP guest here on Let's Talk Live and VO Radio.
All right, so you know what time that means, ladies and gentlemen. Bi-coastal man, voiceover man, Marc Graue is with us. Marc Graue, how you doing, Marc Graue?
Good. Another VO testimonial. I've got Jesus in my throat. Oh, sorry.
So
Okay.
sweet of you to share that, lovely.
How is everybody?
How you doing, man? That's what we want to know. And everybody,
great.
the 1.5 million listeners out there.
Look at me. I'm still upright, so it's good. Every day that I wake up, I guess it's a good thing. So no,
Well, I got a little worried because I heard you've been spending a lot of time down in Miami Beach. So speaking of upright, you're not hanging out the village as much, are you?
God, no. I guess there's a thing. The Village is just for everyone. It's like a place, I guess, in Florida that's like a community. It has the highest rate of STDs in the entire country. It's a bunch of old people, and evidently there's something. I think it's a flamingo. I'm not sure what it is, but anyway, if you hang it one way, it means that you swing this way. If you do it another, and I go, well, it'd just be my luck that if I lived there, I would have it the wrong way, and people would be going, "Stay." And it's like, no, wait, no, you have this all wrong. So
it's pineapple, by the way, just to.
Oh, why do you know that?
That's a whole conversation.
Okay. I'm not old enough for the villages just yet, though.
What a stigma for the poor fruit. The pineapple, I mean. The pineapple. The pineapple has such a stigma.
No, I just work for Dole. Get away from me.
Another plug for VO Horror Stories. Okay,
all right, so I got to get right to a couple emails because they came in an hour before the show. They're sitting in the inbox here. And then we'll get into asking you and picking your brain about all kinds of stuff that's going on in your world right now. Mike wants to know, Michael wants to know, how did you get your first start? Who would you say is the first person ever trusted you with a gig? That's a good question.
That is a good question. Well, actually, it's a two-part story. First VO gig was Don Pitts. Way back when somebody had turned me on to the general auditions at Hanna-Barbera, and I went out. I had no idea what you were supposed to do, so I wrote a script like Robin Williams. Now we'll have to find the great note of stuff. You may call me great. Yes, and they were like, he's on drugs. And they, do you have an agent? I went, no. And so I called Don. He said, yeah, I'll rep you right now. And I remember sitting there watching, it shows how old I am, but watching Orson Welles and, Gary Owens and Casey Kasem and, all of these guys walk in. It was like, I'm never going to work, but this is cool. It's like they were really amazing. Studio-wise, I've told the story a zillion times. I bullshitted my way into a music studio, was working there. They wanted to set up a media studio in Studio 5. And so I had talked Warner Brothers Records into coming in. And they brought, and this is back when all the girls had like black lipstick and black nail polish and black everything. It was just like, well, you look dead. That's great. And they brought their own engineer, and it was for Van Halen's first album. And a commercial, and band came in, everybody. I mean, it was all packed in there. And so the guy's trying to patch an effect, and he goes, well, he's trying to look, and I turn around. This is still analog days. And he goes, man, if you do this, and he, in front of this entire room, goes, I'd appreciate it if you'd shut your mouth and stay out of this. And it was like, oh, God, here went my career, and I don't even have one yet. So we did the spot and then listened to it when it was all done and went, now. And the time at that time was, I think it was either Ernie Anderson or Chuck Riley, but one of the big voices, back then, one of the network voices. And I couldn't afford talent, obviously, so I went in and actually did my own spot and put in. It was like, this is Van Halen. I mean, this thing should be flying with. So I put in jets and phasing and all kinds of crap. And they called up and went, "What is this?" And I went, "God, I'm so sorry." And they went, "No, we love it." And I had them Warner Brothers for about 23 years, and that's kind of what started. And then, of course, I had it was a company called Dove Audio that used to do tons of audio books. It was Michael Wiener and Deborah Rafkin way back when, and that was a huge part. That was worth probably about $200,000, which at that time was like a holy moly,
yeah,
a ton of
right.
cash. And literally, as soon as I moved from Hollywood into the building in Burbank, which was much bigger facility, lots more money, they went, "Oh, we built our own studio." It was like, you what? No,
wait a second.
No.
All that money.
Yeah. So I was kind of had to pivot with that and make change, which is true for everybody. This way, you just need to pivot and kind of go with the flow and make sure. A great example is the AI thing. I know everybody is just vehemently against. it's here already. It's going to get bigger and stronger. It does. So figure out a way to incorporate that, figure out a way to make money.
Embrace it. Yeah, you have to.
I mean, because otherwise it's going to be a runaway train. So,
well, that's definitely a whole conversation we're going to have. We had Tim in Friedlander a little while ago, and we spoke briefly about that with him. Let's go to the second one here. There's another email that came in early, and I mentioned this to the panelists before the show started. Patricia wants to know, is it true that you were an original pirate in the Pirates of the Caribbean ride? And I shared that with the people.
Yeah. I'm still
in the,
up on the bridge. I'm thinking, I'll give you 20 doubloons for the rum. It was very odd being on the lot at Disney and going, can you make him drunker? It was like, really? This is okay. So yeah, he was very drunk by the time we got done, but sadly not really drunk, but just acting that way. So yeah, it was fun.
That's so cool. Well, there you go. Bev, you got a little memory from the first one. I think Mark was one of the first you met in the industry way back, wasn't it?
I hope you remember meeting me.
Of course I do, Bev. Absolutely. Look at that. What happened to us?
But you know what impressed me? It was, so for those that are listening, I was at the Midwestern Conference. It doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
But I ended up sitting in the hotel bar with a bunch of people, and I have never heard anybody have so many different characters come out in one sentence. My jaw dropped. You are so talented. Your brain must just never stop.
Well, a lot of people call that retardation, but thank you. No, that's not.
It is not.
It's I've kind of always just been that. I think it started way back when with my brother and I would mimic people. That we used to be an A&W drive-in. Remember where the girls would literally come out on roller skates and your cars. Yes. And so we would sit there and mimic people while they were eating. And of course, my mother would go, "That's not funny. Obviously, he has a problem." And we had mastered that wonderful thing of Dad doing knock it off, you son of a, just where he could just feel the wind, but he couldn't quite hit you.
Yeah, I remember that.
So that's kind of where all that. And then growing up on the lot, my dad used to anchor news at Channel 5 at KTLA in LA, and so grew up with Dawes Butler and Stan Freberg doing Time for Beanie as a puppet show and watching the show as a kid. And I still remember these poor guys would have these huge pieces of plywood, gigantic lights. They didn't use Fornells and Century lights and all that stuff. These weren't stage lights. It was like huge floodlights. So these guys are dying. I mean, they're back, hey, Beanie Boy, and it's like, it's 300 degrees. And so it's live. Of course, there was no videotape. Everything was live back then. And I remember, little kid watching it, and he goes, hey, Beanie Boy, and the puppet goes to it, and he goes, oh, shit. And I was like, this is cool, puppets and bad language. And of course, my mom's like, you're never going back on that set again. Get out of here, So, that was my induction.
It's very funny because I don't know if Mark knows or not. I'm throwing it maybe onto his hot play here, but we're actually live on video now as well. So not only are we broadcasting live through the apps and through the website, but we're actually live on the website on YouTube. And if you can see, not only here, the listeners, but you can see the animated Mark side of him. You know what's going on. He's full of that animated. And so it falls right into your career, Mark.
But he's full of that. Animated.
I just want to can all those, not only the voices that Ben was talking about, I want to can that energy. I know that there's that monster rock stuff out there, but I want to go to Russell.
It's just plain old lime water, so nothing.
I want to go to Russell Eckel. Russell Eckel is one of our most loyal internists. He's always here, so we call him the internist. Russell, here's your opportunity.
Hi, Russell.
To pick the brain of Mark Graue, man.
Well, it probably won't take long, so go ahead.
You know what? Behind your voice, you are so humble. Honestly, I know you're doing all these voices, but I got to tell you, like I've been following you for a little while. Like when you go to your page, like I don't know if anyone's gone to his page yet. There's this listening, but he's got like, at the top, there's like 4 areas. You go through the first area is just a click and, stuff, click stuff. The third line is it's just a million things.
Right.
And your character voices, Jesse Carroll, another voice actor.
Oh yeah, Jesse's a good guy. Yeah.
He made the comment of how ironically, your drunken pirate has just set the bar for so many. And
that's great. Nothing like setting the bar low.
when
roller skates, huh?
I seriously, I don't even know where to begin to pick your brain on how you develop all these characters. I need to sell a kidney so you can be my coach.
It's not that bad, I promise.
But seriously, I don't know where to even begin, but I can tell you that, you know, anyone that's listening, anyone that's watching, seriously, go to Marc's page. I'm sure we're going to post it. Just even on the character side, it took 10 seconds for his page to load. There's so many character voices from
That's
YouTube.
why nobody stays there. It's like, God, this thing takes so long.
Wait, are there a lot of bouncing going on there?
Well, I thank you. I appreciate the kind words. I just, you know, it's at this point. I mean, I've been doing this long enough that it's more of a pay it forward kind of thing, and seeing somebody else's
Right on.
success and getting an email and have them go, oh man, you know, I signed with an agent. I just, you know, somebody will go, you know, I just used that thing you were talking about, and it was great. Or I just was working with a girl with creatures. She goes, it was amazing. We finished it in 40 minutes less, and they were so happy, and it was effortless. And because she was amping about it, it was great. It was, and I love hearing that kind of stuff. That's awesome. It's very soothing and good for the soul. Absolutely.
That is so cool. One more from Candy, and we'll go to Dee and Stacy. I know they want to ask something too about what's going on. This is from Candy. She said, "Can you tell me what you would give me as advice if you were to give me any advice at all? What would it be as a newbie starting out in the voiceover business?"
Well, because your name is Candy, I'm not going to say what I would usually say, which was tasteless and not very pleasant. So I won't say that. Honestly, I think, you know, the key seriously is just, you know, be true to yourself. You know, I know you're all wondering what I would say. Well, I did that actually. In fact, it was funny. The Midwest Voice Conference, they were saying when they introduced it was like, well, what would you say is the one thing you should do to be successful? I said, buy custom knee pads. That went over well with the audience, not necessarily with them, but anyway. So I think honestly, it's being true to yourself and you know, do what you want to do in this business. Nobody has to be jack of all trades. You're going to be much better at some things than other things, and focus on that to get started. And you know, do what you do, but just do it a little better than the next person. Just, you know, so that you know when stuff comes in. The hardest thing of all nowadays is because everything is so sanguine and we're all locked in our own little area as far as home studios and stuff. You know, I come from an era where we used to go to the buyers. We used to go to your agent that had a booth director. You'd go to a casting director and you'd get immediate feedback, and you don't get that now. So the real key is what can you do to make that MP3 jump when they hit play and go, holy,
that's right,
listen to this. And that's the key, because they can't see you. They don't know your personality. They don't know you'd be fun to work with. They don't any of that. So it's really just find what you want to do, and from that approach, absolutely go for it. And nothing's in stone. Everybody, well, it should be a commercial demo. Sure, that most agents, that's bread and butter. But honestly, if your thing is animation or video games or narration, or honestly even corporate narration, medical narration, go for it. Absolutely. I mean, that's a great jumping off point for you.
Wow, there you go, Candy. Great stuff. Dee, what do you think, man? You got a question or two or
I was
three?
curious, Marc. I mean, because you know, you just kind of alluded to it, where it's changed quite a bit in terms of the interactions, how you get the jobs, how you network, how you know, really connect. What is the biggest obstacle you see for folks who were coming in more recent times, or perhaps a benefit for folks who are coming in more recently than someone who's a veteran like yourself?
You know, I think that first off, social media, you know, don't get drawn into the BS on that. I mean, nobody ever posts, you know, God, I got up this morning and stubbed my toe and I went to pee and I missed the toilet and peed on my foot, and, you know, the dog farted and it was like, boy, it smelled awful. And it was like, God, it just was terrible. And I went outside and the sprinklers got me. No, it's all, God, I got up this morning, there were unicorns hopping all over the yard. And I just like, I booked a $3 million job. I can't talk about it. Of course.
NDAs.
Oh well, yeah.
Right.
Of course. It's the cloud. My favorite thing is when this bit. I'm taking a picture. I'm in the studio. This is my feet. I can't talk about the job, but my feet are in a really cool place. You know, it's like okay. And so you know,
Yeah,
you see
the
that
vague
kind
book.
of. And it's, you know, and don't fall for that. I mean, the grass is always greener, and you know that kind of thing. But just I think, you know, talk to somebody, talk to Anthony, talk to Bev, talk to me. I mean, it's like, we're open to that. It's not like, oh, wait a second here, I'll get the timer going and it's, $3 for another minute. It's like, it's, but I mean, be reasonable too. I mean, I have people that's, so that, okay, now what about it? It's like, well, this isn't an ongoing, I mean, I'm more than happy to, but it's like, not this is not a lifelong commitment, but I mean, certainly to point in the right direction. It's changed drastically, where, agents used to never consider doing non-union. Now that's kind of in the mix, whether you want it to be or not. It's a fact of life. There's nothing wrong with that. There's, for the longest time, it was very much, well, if you're non-union, you're not talented. And it's like, well, seriously,
right.
I don't know where they got that. It's like, no, the people that are union were stupid enough to pay the dues. And it opens up, to more jobs and that kind of stuff and bigger jobs. There's all kinds of ways to work that, FICOR, all of that kind of stuff. But I think the key is just, be true to yourself. There's a couple of ways to do things, even with auditions, to really, really stand out. Robin Williams was a dear friend through Jonathan Winters. I was very lucky. All these guys, Dave Madden, all these guys were I was, the kid. They were not old enough to be my dad, with the exception of Robin. But I remember him saying, "Don't ever mistake the script for the Bible." And I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Make it yours, man. Change it." And that's okay to do. Realize it's an audition. Live auditions, we used to be able to go, "Can I just try something else?" Say, "Oh, of course, by all means." Right. Well, now oh no, it's like we're all, gregarious. And then when you have a script, it's like, don't color outside the lines. Oh my God.
Right.
We're all so serious all of a sudden. It's like, it's fine. It's an audition. So
there's no one to ask. You're stuck in your booth and there's no one to ask.
It. And the other thing too is go further than you think you should. From a casting standpoint, I'd much rather just need to play. I mean, I do a lot of really demented, where, everything I play is dead or mutated, and I never play the guy next door. I'm usually the guy that kills the guy next door, so, but that being said, like I do auditions and really, I mean, it's like, my dad came out the door and said, "What's that smell? It hit me so hard I saw stars." And you know what? That's the last time that ever raised his hand to me. This, I mean, I added all this stuff, and I'm talking about a pyromaniac, and I got a hold of my, little sister's, panties and threw them on the cat and lit that mother on fire. I mean, just really awful, terrible. They're like, we got your, dude, you're going to have to pull this back. This is really
but that's good though.
Like,
yeah.
You hired me, So, and again, pulling back is way easier to do. And it's like, oh yeah, sure. Okay. Then getting there. So, take on the persona of the character, physicality, all of that kind of stuff. Voiceover 101. Who are you speaking to? How many people? Who are you? Where are you? All that stuff. And that will really come into play. Absolutely.
That's so great. And Dee knows, I've mentioned this before. I'm a big believer, and Stacy, who's worked with me, knows that I'm a big believer in this. My clients over the years always say it's easier to push the talent downhill than uphill. Sure. And what they mean by that is it's easier to pull them back than it is to push them up. So I definitely am a big one on give them a little bit more than you normally would, 30, 40% over. Don't be afraid, be overacting like we just had a conversation
about. The other
about.
thing too, quite honestly with that is that realize everything now is an MP3. And an MP3 is a player. So I have no idea. You can't see anything. You can go fast forward, you can rewind, or you can play or stop. But you can't, there is no visual. So there's not a casting director on the face of the earth that's going to go, is that the second take? No, I still think that's the first. So change it up. Read half the script and go, let me just give you something a little bit different. If you have a very different idea. Now realize that 2 takes is not one loud, one soft. And that's what a lot of people have. And your inflections are exactly the same. So you really want it. But if you really have an idea for it, go for it. Because I've had clients actually change stuff and go, we were going down this route. And honestly, if you've been doing this a while, we've all seen that, where you've seen or heard the spot and went, that's not even close to what the direction was. Yeah. And that's because that person took that chance to go, I'm going to do this. And they went, wow, that's generally, and we like it. And they changed the direction. And that's not unusual, not at all.
That's really cool. Hey, Sharon, man, I think your inbox is blowing here. Sharon writes and says, tell us more about the Sovas. I know you're part of that judging panel. How does that work, and how do they decide on who the winner is? I don't know if you can go there or not.
How much money you got?
Yeah, right. How
That's
much
usually what we
sharing?
do. There's a payola thing involved.
That's right. The payola from spin the
No,
record.
so this is Joan and Rudy, Joan Baker and Rudy Gaskins, great organization, been around for a while. It's very much like the Academy Awards would be for voiceover. Judges, the nice thing with that is usually what they'll do is have you judge categories that you're not involved with. So, for me, it would be stuff, obviously, that's not in show narration because I do Alaska State Trooper stuff or video games or animation. That would be something entirely different. So that's basically how that works. It's the that's voiceover thing itself. There's a lot of people there that are good that you can meet and stuff. I will be honest though, I think most VO conferences, just so you know, it's a wonderful way for camaraderie to get and meet people and become friends and lifelong friends, which is really important because I think a lot of us even mentally get out of the booth, man. Go talk to people.
Amen.
I think people get a little nuts, and especially with social media, I think it's very antisocial. It's like, look, I had a cheeseburger. You're cow killer.
Peer pressure.
It's like, what? No,
Yeah,
it was
head
just
games,
a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
I didn't hurt the cow. I swear to God. So I think in that case, it's a great way to meet. If you're going to any of the with the expectation of meeting people to book you, probably not. But that being said, it still is a nice way to get you in and get a name and a face and all of that kind of stuff, which is
you're building relationships.
Yeah, exactly. And that in this business is really good. And a lot of the time, again, now being at home, I mean, you're stuck in the booth and you don't, a lot of the time, there's not really a lot of social interaction other than whatever's happening on the screen. So it's kind of nice to get out. I always tell, especially the video game guys and writers and stuff, it's like, I'll quit living in your mom's basement and go talk to a real girl. I know that's a weird premise, but hey.
How often do you get out of your home studio?
Every day.
Every day? Okay, so you're still active going in studios to do stuff.
Well, it depends. Like right now, I bought a place in Florida, in a place called New Smyrna Beach. It's picture
Awesome.
Laguna Beach in
Yep.
the mid to late 1950s.
Yep.
It's got a little 2-lane drawbridge that goes over to the downtown. They don't allow any box store. It's all mom and pop shops, and you can actually drive onto the beach and take your stuff out and go sit in the water, and it feeds the soul. Being an LA kid, I was actually born in Hollywood at Queen of Angels, been there for 50 whatever years. And it was one of those come to Jesus moments, like, is this really it? There's got to be another chapter, and so, and I love it. It's green. The people are so incredibly courteous. It's amazing. I guess it's that Southern hospitality, but people, I'm used to
one of the best
everybody,
things about living down here.
My fingers are stuck, get off the 405, and it's like, okay, and it's a really, really nice. So I find myself going back less and less. I mean, I'm still in communication, obviously. In fact, I'll get into one of the things which you guys have probably seen too. We're running a contest at the studio right now, which is cool. And I'll give you the information on that, which is kind of fun. And it's actually to get on the roster there, which is because we're doing a lot of.
Yeah, I saw that post. I was wondering about that. It's on the list here, actually. Dean knows, like I do, growing up down there in South Florida, I used to surf in Sebastian Inlet quite a bit when I was young growing up. And I swore one day that was where I was going to live, was there on the beach in Sebastian Inlet. It never happened, unfortunately, but we know, man, that there's still those small little coastal communities along the beach that
it's one of the best things about being down here.
Well, the crazy thing with LA,
pockets.
Right.
I lived in Old Town Pasadena, had a gig in Santa Monica, which is about 22 miles. It took me 3 hours and 17 minutes to get home. And I just went, this is bullshit. I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
It just eats your soul. And everybody's so pent up. How you doing? It's like, well, okay. I mean, it's just, and it's, after a while, it's like, well, there's more to life than just, and again, it's the, work to live, don't live to work. And
it's nice that you don't have to pay personal income tax anymore, isn't it?
That's absolutely. Although not doing, I thought I do due diligence, but property insurance and home insurance make up for that.
Yeah, it does down there. He knows that. Stacey
Don't
Barrel.
forget the car insurance too. Although it's probably cheaper than California.
Oh yeah.
Right.
The neat
Stacey,
thing about
you had something?
I do. The neat thing about you, Mark, is that you are so approachable. And, Russell mentioned about maybe having to sell a little kidney or something to work with you, but I see your site and it's not a big kidney investment. You don't have to sell any limbs or organs. You're very approachable, and it'd be really easy for anyone to just pop on your site and check out your coaching and things like that. And I did see that post also, which just sounds really cool. It said, stay tuned for your future posts about being on your roster. And I just think that's so neat.
Well, because we were trying to figure out the best way to do it. And originally people were going, okay, we'll do size. It was like, no, it's much better 60 seconds. And you put on whatever you want in that 60 seconds that you feel encompasses what you do best. And that's, now I know you can't do everything, and don't stretch it out and go, okay, well, I put all this on and here's my tune, because you'll get bounced. It's not going to work that way. So, put on 3 things, put on 5 things, put on 2 things, put on 10 things. I mean, whatever you feel is going to show what you do, then that's great. Again, well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, you haven't posted like you were just teasing it up right now, or is it out?
Yeah, we haven't actually posted the site yet to throw auditions to. We're just kind of building that up, and just to make sure that everybody's, because I've had people going, well, is this international? Yes, it is. So you can go, because I was having, well, God, that must be just for LA people. It's like, no, it's not just LA people, but it's, the other thing too is make sure your stuff is up to snuff, and even because studio wise, it's very important for us that even equipment wise, what it does and that it works. Do not, it's like Source Connect. Don't wait for a client to call and then go, well, I downloaded it, but it's like, that's not the time that you want to learn how to do that. And I've seen people actually lose gigs over that, because the client's just like, we can't go through a tutorial right now. We got to get going. Right. And so it's like, that's kind of the end of that.
Get it done.
Yeah. But it's just stepping you through in just a, kind of a methodical way to just get you up and going. And I figure, hey, if you can pay it forward a little bit, and it won't be just, 1 or 2 people, it'll probably be, we're looking at probably 6 to 8 people is what it will involve, maybe even 10 if they're really good. And that will be included, because we do a lot of localization, meaning, Korean games, different games, Spanish, all of them, doing English dub stuff, a lot of original video game stuff, a ton of ADR stuff. So there's loop, there's all kinds of opportunities. So there's, so if we can,
cool. That is so exciting.
Sure. Yeah.
That is so cool. Well, if you're just tuning in, our guest VIP today, even though he's one of the contributors here, thank you so much, by the way, for being part of our contributor roster here. This is actually the real voiceover man, ladies and gentlemen, you're catching right now, Marc Graue. And by the way, you can learn more about that information by contacting Marc at
operators are standing by.
That's right.
No, it's
10 minutes. Clock
it's all
boys.
It's MARC-GRAUE, MARC-GRAUE.com. Somebody actually said, is that a stage name? It's like, yes, I wanted something that sounded like a social disease that no one could pronounce. How do you pronounce that? It's like, pretend like you're having a stroke and it'll be close. It's just our low MARC-GRAUE.
Awesome. There you go.
And the email from that goes directly to me, it bypasses the studio. So if you have
excellent.
Absolutely.
Hey, Marc, can you stick around? Can you stick around a little bit? Let's take a quick break.
I'm yours. Absolutely.
And we got some listener emails that we're going to address, and Marc will be here to filter back some of his thoughts and all that fun stuff. So stay put. We are going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
VO Radio is sponsored by
In the World, a voice. Pardon me. In the world of voice, everything is changing. It's time to release your inner storyteller. The monster, the diva, the comedian, the mock announcer, the character, and so much more. To charm, seduce, ignite, and excite. Let's play. GetMiked.com.
Hey everyone, NAVA President Tim Friedlander here with your NAVA News Minute Update. We're looking forward to accomplishing a lot in 2026 and offering more benefits to NAVA members and the voiceover community as a whole. Coming up, our annual State of Voiceover survey is opening soon. This annual survey provides valuable data-driven insights into our industry, and the results are incredibly important for all of us. Please take the time to fill out the survey when you're able and share with your fellow voice actors. All answers will remain anonymous. Nava has new health insurance offerings for Nava members, and they are available now. Nava members have access to plans that cover themselves and their spouses and dependents, as well as vision, dental, and even pet insurance. Check out our new plans on our website, navavoices.org/healthcare. The third annual Nava Gala took place on December 12th, and it was a huge success. We honored industry leaders, including our Icon Award winner Bill Farmer, and raised over $80,000 for the Nava Foundation to help fund scholarships, legal aid, education, and more. Thank you to all of you who were part of it. We're continuing to work to make this industry a better place for all of us. Thank you for all of your support. To find out more info on Nava, visit our website, navavoices.org.
Street Smart Coaching.
That's what you get at VO 101.
Hi, I'm Anthony Reese, 35-year veteran, casting director, producer, and voiceover coach here at VO 101.
Whether a beginner or veteran voice talent,
You'll find everything you need to get your career started or take your career to the next level. Training, website design, YouTube channel creation, voiceover demos, video demos, a free evaluation, and even a free training area.
get Street Smart Coaching at VO 101.
That's vo101.com.
VO101.com.
Are you a Canadian voice actor looking for more than just behind the mic? The Canadian Association of Voice Actors, known as CAVA, is a member-driven nonprofit organization that educates, advocates, and supports voice actors in Canada. And we want you to join us. As a member, you'll enjoy exclusive benefits like access to extended health coverage, advocacy in the age of AI, and a library of educational resources. Visit us at www.cavavoices.org because your voice matters.
Let's talk VO Live on VO Radio. Interact with the show by texting 970-682-3424 or email your question to the show using the app email icon, radio player window, ask a question button, or send an email to ask@voradioonline.com. Let's talk VO Live on VO Radio. It's here for you.
Welcome back, everybody. We're here today with our special guest, Marc Graue. Thank you, Marc, for showing up and for sticking around because we have a bunch of questions coming up. But it's really important that you as listeners out there send us an email. Ask us your questions. This is a great place for us to pay it forward and for you to find out what you want to know for free. Absolutely. So have a listen, send us a message, send us a text. You just heard the numbers. And also go to the survey on our website. We'd love to know what you think, and that's how we'll make our process, everything better, our show better. We're constantly changing and working on improving things. So we'd love to hear from you. Speaking of emails, Anthony?
VO Radio, internet radio for the voiceover community.
Hi, this is Dave DeAndrea. Be sure to catch my feature, VO Interrogation, all week during the 24/7 broadcast here on VO Radio. Check out the program section of the website for my weekly show hour.
Internet radio for the voice artist just like you. Listen and learn with VO Radio.
This is VO Radio, 24/7 internet radio for the voiceover industry. Get to know some of our featured contributors. Want to reach any of our contributors? Just go to voradioonline.com, click on the host tab on our navigation bar, and then select Reach a Contributor. You can also check out the programs area of the website for their featured programs and times. You too can correspond with any of our featured contributors here at VO Radio. Listen, learn, and succeed with VO Radio. It's here for you.
The best music ever made.
If you're like most voice talent today, you're wondering various things relating to your voiceover career. Well, VO Radio has your answers. Here's more questions answered by our panelists live on Let's Talk VO here on VO Radio.
Listen and learn. Internet radio for the voice artist just like you.
And don't miss my weekly show Saturdays called Hype and Insincerity. Sorry. Okay. That was me.
I love it.
Sorry. Oh, God, my mic was on. Okay, sorry. Okay.
So, Marc, I'm going to keep your mic on. I'm going to ask you first what you'd like to answer. This question is from Sherry in Dallas.
Hi, Sherry.
And her comment is, I'm 52, but sound much younger. I get that. Should I target younger age auditions?
Sure. It depends. Here's a great thing with that is age really doesn't come into play in voiceover. This is very fun. Remember Dawes Butler he was the voice of Elroy in the Jetsons. And hey, come on, you guys, and just have that thing like this. And it was like, we did one of the last sessions they did. The director goes, cut, and they've all got their oxygen going. It was a very surreal. No, voice wise, honestly, there really isn't a difference unless you're talking about like 18, 19, 20 and below. That's going to have a very different voice print. Kids' voices, if you really nail that, most of young boys' voices and stuff are done by women like E.G. Daly, Cass Susie.
Right.
I mean, they nail that stuff. They've made amazing careers off of that. So no, if it's commercial stuff, no, you can skew definitely younger because nobody's looking. It's all about the sound. Absolutely. So you're fine.
Perfect. Anthony, am I going around the room with this question or going to the
real
next
quickly,
one?
pick a few people and let a few reply. That's cool.
Well, I'm going to ask you because I'm going to ask you, Anthony. What would you suggest?
I would definitely say ditto on everything he just said. Basically, if you sound younger from a younger demographic, go for it. That's the beauty of the whole voiceover business. The old video killed a radio star song. Remember that back in the day? Well, that's the beauty of doing voiceover work. You don't have to worry about being seen on camera, even doing a voiceover for broadcast, television, commercial work, and what have you. If you sound like you fit the part, but don't fall into that trap that a lot of men do. Women can get away with doing like Lonnie Manella and people like that, even Nancy Cartwright of the world, like Marc was mentioning, they can get away with doing that young 10-year-old, 11-year-old, 12-year-old boy. But I hate to tell you men out there, but don't try if you're a 40-year-old man to do a 9-year-old, 10-year-old, 15-year-old teenage kid. It just doesn't work.
Well, I don't do kids' voices at all. It sounds like I'm trying to lure them into the van with a
same
candy
with me.
bar.
There's a point where I just screw past it. So I would say for her, from a standpoint of who was it, Sherry, who wrote in earlier?
Sherry.
Definitely take advantage of everything Marc just said. You couldn't find better advice if you dug it up on the internet. That's good stuff there.
So I know we're kind of not running out of time, but we are near the top of the hour. So I'm going to jump in on this one and then I'm going to go to the next question only because I am an older voice. I didn't even start till I was 52. And one of the reasons I don't want my picture on my website is I don't want to sound like the gray-haired lady that
right.
It should be sounding like this because that's how really old I am.
You bring up a really great question or answer with that too, Bev, and that is that people, when you put a picture on, they immediately have a preconceived notion of who you are and what you are, and it's like, no, that's not necessarily true at all. That's a really good point.
We've had this discussion actually a while ago. We had a couple of guests on, and we kind of had different opinions on that photo versus logo. So that is great. Great question.
Yeah, but the other thing is, I was going to say, in your 20s, they have a way of speaking. They leave T's out. They say SH instead of S in many words, and that's an age thing. So if you can't sound like they speak, it has nothing to do with how young you sound or how pitched your voice is. It's how you speak. It's your mannerisms together with that. Stacey, you wanted to say something before we go?
Yeah, along those lines. And study those age groups. Don't force yourself to, I really want, just because you want to do something or you think you have a big range, make sure you study, like, how do older people speak, elderly, how do little kids speak, just like what
Why are you looking at me when you say that?
They might need more,
Marc?
more breath, more
my
breathy.
pants feel squishy again.
Younger people
have
talk
a whole
about
show on this.
the whole teeth thing, breathing,
Sure.
So, Sherry, I hope that answered your question. You said, should I target younger auditions? Target, no. Include, yes. And if you have an agent, ask them what they think. Because I have an agent that will not submit me for anything under 50. Because I'm not. So, that's their choice. But you should know that.
That's a good point too, Bev. And that is, if it isn't really in your wheelhouse, pass on it. There's going to be a zillion other auditions, because if you're wasting the agents, that just makes them mad, and it's wasting time, and they will really respect the fact that you passed on it. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I mean, if you've got a voice that's 25 to 35, do that. Don't try and do the 50 to 70s, So anyway, Sherry, great question. Mike from Chicago. Should I join peer groups or really focus on webinars and private coaching? So I'm going to turn this one over to Dee.
I say do it all. Why not? There's 24 hours in the day. You got to eat, you got to poop, you got to sleep sometime, but there's a lot of time in the day. Definitely get coaching. Coaching is vital in this industry, right? Guys like Marc, perhaps, or Anthony or Beth. Oh, I don't know. But there's a bevy of coaches that are very, very trustworthy.
That was
Pun
good.
intended, Debbie.
And
Why couldn't there be a Marky of
peer
coaches?
groups
What the
are
hell?
great.
And don't do all those things that Dee said while you're coaching.
I mean, as long as you're not on camera. But honestly, like in peer groups, I still do stuff with people. Like I still have a group of folks that I'll get together with from time to time. We'll just workshop stuff just for.
You know what? I think
it's
peer
fun.
groups are really good too to get over the nervousness and the idea of speaking in front and doing or commercial,
Exactly
whatever it may
right.
be. But it kind of gets you out of your shell, and you're not, and you're with other people that are like-minded and doing the same thing, so you're fine. When you get really specific, I think sometimes the coaching stuff works when it's one-on-one rather than a group thing because it's very specific to you. But sure, I mean that honestly, you're right. They all work. Absolutely.
Perfect. Russell, how do you feel as a newer talent? What are your insights on that?
I'm glad you asked, because honestly, from the newer talent side, it kind of depends on where they are at their journey. Sometimes there's
right.
not the funds to do everything. You know, a lot of workshops and peer groups, those are free, don't get me wrong. But I actually feel if you have the funds and it's available, go with a coach first. You can always add the peer groups as you go, but you have a possibility of getting all these people with good intentions telling you incorrect things.
That's right.
that
Bad
start building.
messages. Right.
And it would be better to go with a coach first. That's my opinion.
Good point.
Right on.
Makes sense.
Great points. I'd like to throw in a question that David Perry has, because David, you're in our room and you typed it into the chat. So if it's okay, let's address David's. Here in London, the UK, more and more in-vision actors are promoting their casting director self-taping courses. If a voice actor enrolls, would this detract from VO coaching?
I'm not sure I understand.
I didn't understand the question. Can you read it again?
That makes three of us.
Yeah. Mark says, here in London, UK, more and more in-vision actors are promoting their casting director self-taping courses.
Okay.
If a voice actor enrolls, would this detract from VO coaching?
No, I don't think so at all. I think it's the same. It's the same premise. It's just that on camera, voiceover, it's all very similar. It's just instead of a camera, you're using a microphone. But no, I don't think it would detract. I think it all kind of goes hand in hand.
Okay.
Right on.
That's great. And so that was from Mike in Chicago. I hope you got some input on that. And I think we have a break coming up, don't we, Anthony?
You got it. Let's do that. And we'll come right back with the Who Are You round coming up next.
VO Radio is sponsored by
Somebody has to be the best in the business.
Elevate your voice with NAVA, the National Association of Voice Actors. As a nonprofit association, NAVA is dedicated to the advocacy and protection of all our voices and for championing the equitable advancement of the voice acting industry. Visit the website at navavoices.org today. NAVA, together they can protect the future of voice acting and make our voices heard.
Introducing Vogue 79.5, a special digital-only edition created for the end of the VO convention year, and it's available free at thevogue.com. Discover it all and exclusive deals just for the VO community. From our Vogue family to yours, happy voicing.
Hey, y'all. This is Ali Chef here with events and happenings. March 30th is the Audio Publishers Association Conference, and it will be held virtually. Tickets go on sale January 5th. It's a wonderful event, especially if you are in the audiobook world. A lot of opportunities to connect with fellow narrators, as well as those working on the other areas of the industry. So check that out. Again, that is March 30th. And go to the audiopub.org website to find out more. Vocation, vocation, vocation. Vocation is happening April 23rd through 26th, a conference for the business of voiceover in a paradise. voice. That's right. It is completely dedicated to the business side of voiceover. Go to the Vocation website to find out more. Well, y'all, much love. Catch you on the flip side.
Have a voiceover related event coming up? Let Ali Chef at VO Radio share it with listeners.
Hey, y'all. Ali, Chef here with events and happenings. Share your own events and happenings that you would like us to share with the VO world.
Just fill out the event form located on our website using the events link on the navigation menu. And we'll add it to our events calendar feature broadcast daily on VO Radio. VO Radio, helping your next event succeed.
Hi, Peter Drew here, professional blabbermouth for several decades. I'm a seasoned voice actor and VO coach, which means I'm not quite old as dirt, but I've been around the block a few times. So whether you've got a face made for radio, like me, or you're one of the beautiful people, if you have a voice and you want to learn how to use it as a voice actor, check out Hot Mic here on VO Radio. You can connect with me at peter@peterdrewvo.com.
Let's Talk VO Live on VO Radio. Interact with the show by texting 970-682-3424 or email your question to the show using the app email icon, radio player window, ask a question button, or send an email to ask@voradioonline.com. Let's Talk VO Live on VO Radio. It's here for you.
Well. Since we're running low on time here, we thought we'd jump into our Who Are You section of the program, where listeners ask us a very simple question that we will answer about our personal takes. Anthony.
What's the key to being a successful voiceover? Well, it's twofold. Acting with your unique and authentic being. And marketing. Be consistent with growing and honing your skills to beat out the AI monster we're all facing. And marketing. The million-dollar question is, how do you master these skills? Of course, you hire a good coach who's been in the biz, who's been down this road, and can help you avoid pitfalls and rabbit holes. I'm Diana Birdsall, coach and voice actor. Get in touch at diana@dianabirdsall.com.
Here at VO Radio, many of our listeners write in asking questions about our contributors and panelists. Listeners just like you want to ask, who are you? Here's another question sent in by one of our listeners just like you, asking, who are you to our panelists and contributors? This is VO Radio. It's here for you.
So, Andy in Salt Lake City wants to know what color underwear. No, never mind. Sorry, I read that incorrectly. Have you passed on a VO job? If so, why? Let's go around the horn, starting with Stacey Barrow.
Okay. I would say I like to pass. I choose to pass on VO jobs for certain audiobooks. I like to pick and choose those extremely carefully because I don't want to say yes when there's certain characters as a character actress that I think I can't maintain throughout the whole book. So those I will pass on.
Right on. Marc Graue.
Well, it's funny you should mention that. The only job really that I remember passing on was years ago. I was with William Morris, and they said, "Are you available tomorrow at 3:00?" I went, "Yes, absolutely." I was the new kid on the block. Great. Where is it? It's at the Celebrity Center in Hollywood. Oh, shit. For those of you who don't know, that's Scientology headquarters. So I basically didn't know what to do, so I went. And the only thing I could think of was butcher this, or you are going to be the voice of. At that point, it was like
Scientology, right?
Yeah, and so
Dianetics by L.
yeah,
Ron
exactly.
Hubbard.
Could you just billboard? I was there. Sure, Dianetics. I mean, I just absolutely. It's probably. I mean, you can just see them on the other side of the glass, going, "What the f is he doing?" And it was probably the only time I've ever walked out and went, "Yes,
So
I didn't
you
book it."
You threw the job rather than decline.
Well, because I was young and just getting started, and I didn't want to tell
No,
William
that's
Morris, well, I'm not doing that. So it was like, of course. And then it was like, so I don't know it was probably worse because they probably called, what the hell are you sending this guy over?
Did you have to
That's
escape in
awesome,
the trunk
man.
of
That's-
someone's car to get
Oh
out?
yeah, it was a it was very much like going to Disneyland circa 1966 with red velvet and 3 stories underground. It was
Oh my God.
very bizarre.
Well, now that
So
you're in Florida, you can come to the, the west coast of Florida and enjoy Clearwater, where the
there you go
headquarters is.
too.
There
It's
you go.
another miracle of Elron. So oh yeah.
That is so funny.
Oh my God.
Anthony, you ever pass on the job, and if so, why?
I did pass a couple jobs throughout my career. The first one I really remember was back in I guess it would be like the mid to late 90s. I had partners, and I think I've mentioned this before, but I had partners that were basically all about the dollar. They were investors, so they wanted money, money, money. They could have cared less. A couple CEOs of some, at the time, Silicon Valley guys were investing in something I was doing, and they were all about, we don't care what it has to do, just the bottom dollar, bottom dollar. So the reality was I got offered a pretty good chunk of change to basically dub the Moans and Groans for some porno series, and passed on it, man. Wasn't willing to go that route.
You don't have a website, do you?
I swear I would have passed it on to you. And by the way, they hated my guts for it. Of course, it was a big issue, became a really big deal because somebody within my employee base at the time narked on me. The partners were not happy. So at the next shareholder meeting, they asked why. And I said, because I don't want to become the immoral in the eyes of all the other group publishing and Christian companies that we were working with in the animation world at the time, the people that are known to do dubbing of moaning and groaning. So I passed, but it was good money. But I'm glad I passed because I kind of look back now and go, yeah, I stuck to my morals. So, a little advice to everybody out there listening.
It's when we did real quick. We did a quick one at the studio as far as a studio job, and we had a Russian woman who wanted us. She brought us a phone recording and wanted us to voice match her husband going. But of course, I told you I'd give you the whole house, everything, and it was to go to court. It was like, oh hell no! And it was like, no, we're not doing that. I'm sorry, but I didn't mean to. I just realized, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. Anyway.
Oh, you can step on my thoughts anytime, Mark. The answer, have I ever turned down a job? No. Have I ever turned down an audition? Many, many, many times. Budget, usage, topic, my ability, timing. Yes. Yes.
Right on.
But
Well,
never
You
a job.
actually have morals. What are you doing in this business?
I don't know. Some days.
Russell, I know you're early in your journey, but you have that turned down a job before? Okay.
I only one.
Okay.
So I wound up getting a job from Casting Call Club, did the auditions. It was like, the lines were all generic lines, nailed it, got the part, then saw the script, and it was an entirely sexual script. Had nothing to do with the lines, and I was just like, I can't do this.
Oh.
Yeah, it was not what was presented as what the job really was, so I had to decline it.
Right on.
I guess I can say I turned down being an AI voice for TikTok, but they didn't actually hire me, so it didn't matter.
That's so funny.
A whole other ball of wax, my lady.
And I gotta throw this in because if not, she would kill me probably not saying it. Minnie wrote in and said about the underwear question. I think that's a great future. Who are you? Underwear or no underwear? So D, see what you did, D.
Hey, sometimes you gotta improvise,
Is it a callback and is it scale? No, okay. So.
Don't talk about a scale when you're talking
Oh my
about
God.
Did they need a higher register? Is that what you're
I
saying?
just started my new diet this week, so let's not do that. Oh yeah, I guess I should answer the question too. And yes, I've turned down a job. And why? Let's just say, I'm not going to call the person's name out, but the guy's a dick, and I know him from a previous life from my career in music. And so when I was offered an opportunity, I was just like, yeah, this is just no. I was like, this is going to be ugly because I'm not going to be able to hold back. And especially if he acts the way I know he acts all the time to people. So yeah, it was immediate like, hey, could have been a good opportunity. As far as I know, the show made it 2 seasons, so that probably would have been a good opportunity, but I regret it.
Is dick a technical phrase?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and yeah.
Yeah. Yes, and.
Yes, and.
Oh my
Oh yeah, his name
God.
wasn't actually Richard, if that's what you're asking.
Well, there you go. So that was Andy in Salt Lake City. Thank you so much. Hey, we're going to wrap things up because we're a little bit over at this point, and we don't want to keep Mark's limo out there to they're burning all the gas, running the air. So, hey, Marc Graue was our VIP today. If you've missed the show, you can listen to the show on demand and the encore tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And don't forget about the VIP excerpts of all the interviews. We had Jen Rudkin the other day. We had Tim Friedlander. We had Robert Clotworthy recently. We had Marc Graue. We've had a lot of Dave Vanoy. We've had a lot of great VIPs over this last couple of years. So you can listen to those also on the website. And you'll be able to hear Mark's interview tomorrow. Once again, Marc Graue, tell those people real quickly about your promotion you're running right now and how they can get involved. And we're going to help promote it here on VO Radio.
There will be more information coming, but what we're basically doing is use 60 seconds, keep it right to 60. It doesn't need to have music, anything in it. It doesn't matter. Kids' voices, creatures' voices, scary voices, evil guys, young people, whatever you want to do, whatever your strong suit is, put that in 60 seconds. Doesn't have to have anything underneath it, just whatever you want to showcase. And I will be giving updates as far as where to actually send the audition, and the winners will actually get stuck on the roster at the studio. So you'll be getting auditions from this.
That is so cool.
That's awesome.
That is really cool. Well, there you go. It looks like Dave is unmuted. David, any final thoughts before we hang for the day? I know he's like 9 hours. It's like 1 in the morning there.
It's amazing he's even here. So thank you, David.
Yeah, thank you, Dave, for sticking around. All right, folks, that does another installment of Let's Talk VO here on the VO Radio platform. Make sure to check out the Power Podcast Saturdays and the best of Let's Talk VO on Sundays. And don't forget the part of the lineup on Saturday in the Power Podcast is Marc Graue and Deb Moreau with their Nitty Gritty. So check that out. Some really good ones coming up soon. They're sending over for us to broadcast on Saturday. So check that out. Other than that, hasta la vista, baby.
Thanks, guys. Thank you very much for having me. Love you. Bye. Bye, Thanks, Anthony. Bye, Stace. Bye, everybody. Bye, Bev.
Thanks
Bye,
for
Dee.
listening.
See you soon.
See you guys.
Awesome stuff.
Thank you. Thanks, man.
Now we will return you to programming already in progress.